Hello, you gorgeous human beings. I am gonna just keep on going. So, three of my big lessons. I think in the lead up to the one live, I went into hyper overdrive mode around how we were going to sell all of the tickets. And I think probably this was the biggest lesson, is that actually keeping it simple and doing the things, like there are tried and tested routes for me to fill events, classes, courses, workshops that I have been doing over the last 8 years. And I think that because it was in a different format, we would move from in-person to online, my head started making up loads and loads of different stories about why this needed to be really hard, why we would need to have 50,000 kind of launch triggers and events in order to fill it. And we didn't need that at all. And so I really want to encourage you, when you're doing either something new, is really think about what are the skills that I have and that I've used before that have been really powerful, and let's make the assumption, and I know people say don't assume anything, but let's make the assumption that some of those skills and tools that you have used in other areas are going to transfer over. I think that our mind always wants to make it more complicated, and it is always looking for the latest, next, new, shiny object. And often that is not helpful for you at all. So this is when you're doing something new. When you're doing something that you have done before, hey, guess what? Let's rinse and repeat what has worked before. So it's the same lesson, but I find that again, when something has worked for people, often they're like, well, I've done this once, so I need to do something new again. No, you don't. So there is real power in keeping things simple and doing the things that have worked for you in the past. Now, that's not to say that we don't incorporate anything else, but tried and tested is often your best and easiest, most simple path. So that is my first thing for you: tried and tested and keeping it simple. The second big thing that I learned from doing the one live is don't underestimate the power of online. I had a really big story running that I can do in-person events and I know that I can rock them, but there is a disconnect between me and the audience when we're online. And the one live virtual event absolutely smashed that story out of the park. It absolutely smashed it out of the park. People were able to feel me, feel the intention, and feel, the love exchange just as much as they were able to do in person the year before. And so we're in this really strange time in the world where we don't know what is going to happen. I want you to know that online is not a barrier at all to you creating really, really meaningful and powerful connections. It's not at all. So if you have the desire to create an online retreat, do it. If you have the desire to do an online workshop or take a workshop that you used to do in person and you want to do it online, do it. So the second lesson is, please don't be afraid of taking powerful, meaningful events and turning them online, putting them online. It can absolutely work. It's not just about the Facebook Live. And then the third thing that I want to share with you that really just hit me so much, and this is online, but I feel like I've seen the impact of it in my business over the last year, is having support is absolutely necessary when it comes to you creating a bigger impact. And I said this at the weekend, but honestly, the support that I received personally, professionally, technically, the team support that I had was incredible. Now, for those of you who are just starting out on your journey, I want you to know that one of the first investments that I made, probably within like 2 months of being in my business, was a VA. You know, I recognized very early on that the admin piece was never ever going to be my strong suit. And so having somebody there who that is what they were paid to do, that is what they thrived off, that was a really, really smart decision. And I think that what I observe in my communities, particularly with the people who are just starting out, is that you hold off making that decision for way too long because of scarcity mindset. And what I want you to think about is that for the cost of a VA, which you'll get between £20 and £35 an hour, depending on their skill set, your value to your business when you can come on and do a live and connect and really start helping people to see things differently is worth way more than a £25 or £35 an hour task. And so, yes, it requires you stepping up, but I often think having the team members can be the motivation because you now have a responsibility to pay somebody. And I think that that can be super, super helpful. You want to pay people to take as much stuff off of your plate as possible so that you can focus on your zone of genius. And that is it. Sometimes stretching yourself a little bit before you're ready drives you to get your income goal more quickly. I think that one of the things that I do and I would absolutely recommend is having some tangible physical goods. Ask yourself how you want people to feel. How do you want people to feel at the start of the event? I wanted people to be excited. So, that's why we said don't open, creating that anticipation and that buzz of what's going to be in the box. So we wanted people to feel like that eager anticipation. A lot of the time when somebody books to come on an online event, even if they've paid money, because of life and business and all of that stuff, often they won't come, stuff will get in the way. So it was like, right, how can we get people feeling really excited so they actually show up? Right, I have loved this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. It is possible that I might change the time of Thrive Thursday to 8:30 now that I'm back in the UK, just to give myself a little bit of extra time. We'll see how we do next week. But it has been a joy. Faith plus action equals miracles. And I will see you next week. Love ya. Bye.